I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Spaghetti. Oh boy. Hello, Whitney.
Hello, Ryan.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Whitney.
We forgot last time.
So now we're starting and we're saying our names.
And this is the Listenercast.
The Listenercast.
And just by listening, you're a listener on the Listenercast.
Woo.
Woo, 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 woo. Bang, bang, bang. Oh,
That was so perfect.
was it?
That was like the exact like tone and intonation of that. I don't think intonation's the right word there. But it was exact to the cat, to the internet cat.
Oh, good. I'm always here to please.
I am to please. Okay. So we are doing part two.
Part 2
of Oathbringer.
Oathbringer.
Woo, 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 woo.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I can't stop doing that today. I don't know why.
It's fun.
It's fun. As always, maybe we'll yap at the end. We did record an almost 3-hour long episode before this.
Yes.
So we may get to the end and decide, I'd like to go to bed now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to get right into it. Oh, Ryan's pointing. I'll point as well. Okay.
Get ready. I don't know.
We're just going to jump right into it. Starting with the interludes.
Pooley,
Holy.
the lighthouse keeper, is excited for the new storm. He believes the times his grandfather spoke of are soon to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a really short, just little 1-page interlude here.
Mm-hmm.
So not much. I got.
I'll just read off what his grandfather said to him. They'll come with light in their pockets, grandfather had said. They'll come to destroy, but you should watch for them anyway, because they'll come from the origin, the sailors lost on an infinite sea. You keep that fire high at night, Pooley. You burn it bright until the day they come. They'll arrive when the night is darkest.
You bet.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Assuming that means radiance with light in their pocket.
Presumably.
Presumably.
But it says they come to destroy.
Yes.
So would it not be the Voidbringers? They also sometimes have light in their pockets.
But yes. Maybe.
And the new... I don't know.
But they come from the origin.
The origin.
So that means from the sea.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Who knows? Guess we'll find out.
All right. Interlude 2. Alista.
I love this.
Yeah.
Alista, an ardent, tries to find a nice place to read, but keeps getting interrupted by others arguing over the Everstorm. She finds a nice spot in the woods to read her romance novel. She once again is interrupted by an ardent. This time it's Irv. He says he'll give her the sequel to her book if she helps him with the Dawn Chant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like that we get like a, everything we've seen in these books so far is like so serious and like so like scholarly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you wouldn't think that they'd be writing romance books in Roshar, you know what I mean?
Yeah. People need to be entertained and everything.
Yeah.
I really like it just because we see that, like, from the ardents that we experience, besides Capsule, and
There's,
Zahel.
Yeah, there's a couple we've come into contact with.
Yeah,
as
they're all
recent.
very, like, studious.
Yeah.
And, like, devout and straight and narrow. And it's just nice to see a silly one.
Yeah.
Who likes romance novels.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say she's silly, but it's just kind of a...
More human.
Yeah, more humanized and just like,
Yep.
they, like... I don't know, and like Ardents too are supposed to be like, married to the Almighty, kind of like how like nuns are like married to God or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know the logistics of that.
They can marry other ardents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can marry within like the church essentially, but like it's just nice that they're like having their little fantasies. I love it.
Yeah.
And I also like when the other Ardent like talks to her and is like, oh, she should have chosen whoever. And she's like, oh, Wrong.
Yeah.
I love the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Interlude 3, The Rhythm of the Lost.
Venli finds the body of Eshonai and goes off on the spren Ulam for not caring for her sister.
Yeah, I actually do have a note in this chapter. And because they find Eshonai's body and she is like really, truly dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did not expect to find her dead. Like Venli thought that she was going to be alive still.
Yep.
And so...
And believed that she was alive when she first saw her.
Yeah, she definitely thought she was. But she says Eshonai and nudges the corpse. Demid gasped. Touching the bodies of the fallen was taboo. The old song spoke of days when humans had hacked apart listener corpses, searching for gem hearts. Leave the dead to peace instead. It was their way. So, I mean, like, we already saw in, like, The Way of Kings and Words of Radiance that, like, Parshendi, like, touching their dead, it was, like, obviously, like, a really big deal to them.
Yep.
Especially in The Way of Kings, we saw that. So just confirming it here, like, even though Eshonai was, like, someone that was, like, greatly appreciated, still, like, touching her is, like, can't do it.
Yeah. It's taboo.
Yeah.
I got marked down here. Demid asked, our ancestors, what do the dead have to do with this? Everything, Ulam replied, seeing as they're the ones in charge. Armor, now. He zipped the wall as a tiny streak of lightning, then moved off. Further down the page, Venli, she turned to go, but paused as she saw something. What was that small spren that had crept out from beneath Eshonai's corpse? It looked like a small ball of white fire. It gave off little rings of light and trailed a streak behind it like a comet. What are you? Venli demanded to spite. Shoo. She hiked off, leaving her sister's corpse there at the bottom of the chasm, stripped and alone. Food for either a chasm fiend or a storm.
Yeah. Interesting little...
There's a little spren.
There's a little spren.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what that is, but it's there.
Yes.
Did you have anything else for that interlude?
No.
All right. So we're going to part 2.
Yes.
I want to note part 2 for the perspectives. It says Shallan, Yasna, Dalinar, and Bridge 4.
Yes.
It does not just say like Kaladin.
No, it does not, because we get a lot of Bridge 4 members as our sort of perspective.
Our narrators.
Yeah. I really, really like it.
Yeah, me too.
I really love this part, actually.
All right.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about chapter 33, a lecture.
Okay.
Yasna's back.
Shallan goes and finds Yasna examining the large gemstone. Shallan is a little frustrated with Yasna, and Yasna explains how she survived and compliments Shallan on her discovery. Yasna is also frustrated with herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's very of character that Shallan shows up and Yasna's like, hey, can you, like, just immediately lectures her.
Yep.
Like, immediately. Like, no pleasantries. Like, hey, you died. Like, good to see you. I'm glad you're alive.
Mm-hmm.
Just immediate Yasna being Yasna.
Yeah, I like how it kind of starts, and right here it says, Yasna's return sparked something in her. Shallan had once been more analytical in her drawings, including notes and explanations with the sketches. Lately, she'd only been doing pages and pages of twisted images. Well, she'd been trained as a scholar, hadn't she? She shouldn't just draw, she should analyze, extrapolate, speculate. So she addressed herself to fully recording her experiences with the unmade. And immediately you see this with her sketchbook.
Yeah.
And it's like back to normal from what we have seen previously with Shallan.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that also has to do with a lot now with the unmade being gone.
Yes.
Actually, I think that's like directly said later on.
But yeah, it's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have more statement for that.
Yeah. Do you have any notes for this?
I don't actually.
You don't.
I just have the fact that she just comes in and there's no pleasantries. It's just Yasna back to being Yasna.
Yeah. I like that Shalon and Yesna, they talk about like how fabrials work and like they have to capture a spren in them. And then Shalon's just like, oh, that's horrible. We're imprisoning spren and everything. And like Yesna says, oh, but we've
been doing that forever.
Yeah, we tied chulls or like wagons and stuff for them to pull. She goes and explains like connection to Shadesmore and how her order is better at it and whatnot. You know what I want to talk about.
What?
I want to talk about the chapter header.
The chapter header. Oh, like the writing or the picture?
The writing.
The writing. Yeah. What is it?
It says, Dearest Siphondrius, I received your communication, of course. Last book, in Words of Radiance, we had some letters being sent out, talking about things.
From who?
Well, apparently it was from this guy called Siphondrius.
Yeah. But, like, where did we find out someone was sending letters?
Well, the other chapter headers was somebody sending them out to somebody.
In Words of Radiance?
In Words of Radiance, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. With this, at least in this part, they are now the people corresponding to said person.
So the person that sent them from Words of Radiance?
Yes. Jose who?
We'll get there.
We'll get there?
Eventually, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would guess. Maybe.
One would have to assume.
You could probably guess.
Yeah. If you've read these books.
If you've read these books.
You have a pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're smarter than I was in my first reread and you'll figure it out. Or first read, pardon.
Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have anything else for you there.
Chapter 34.
Resistance.
Dalinar gets Queen Fen placed in the dream where the midnight creatures are attacking. He discovers that she has gotten the town together and defends themselves surrounding a large bonfire. She speaks to Dalinar and he gets passionate in his speech. That was what Queen Fen was looking for and says she now will consider.
Yeah, I actually marked like what he says to her. Like he's so polite with her the whole time.
Yep.
And then you know, sorry, I'm trying to find where I want to start here. Dalinar tells her she's being irrational. And she says, am I? Oh, let me Storming reconsider then. All I need to do is let the Storming Blackthorn himself into my city so he can take control of my armies. What would you have me do? Dalinar shouted. Would you have me watch the world crumble? She cocked her head at his outburst. Maybe you're right. Maybe I am a tyrant. Maybe letting my armies into your city is a terrible risk. But maybe you don't have good options. Maybe all the good men are dead, so all you have is me. Spitting into the storm isn't going to change that, Fen. You can risk possibly being conquered by the Alethi, or you can definitely follow the Voidbringer assault alone. And curiously, Fen crossed her arms and raised her left hand to her chin, inspecting Dalinar. She didn't seem the least bit fazed by his shouting. So, I just really like that she was just waiting for him to, like, be real with her, essentially. Because he's like, I was being, like, you know, courtly, like I was doing the proper thing in the way I was talking to you. And she was like, I've been waiting for you to just be straight up with me and have this passion. There was a part of her that
didn't even believe that it was him that she was talking to.
Yeah.
I get it.
I do too.
It should, and I mean, we get that with her from the beginning, where she doesn't talk like a queen,
right?
And that's how you know something's wrong, is when she talks like a queen.
Yeah.
And
it's also like we didn't talk about it, that they're in one of his visions right now. Like, I mean, you talked about it in your summary, but we haven't like talked about it on the podcast. That's like, I don't know if that's, obviously it's something Stormfather can do.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that that's the way that he is able to communicate with like the other people in charge.
Yes.
I guess, you know?
Yeah.
I
Because
like it.
Dalinar can now bring anybody that he touches into his visions, but for people around the world to be in it, they need to be like in the storm, like Dalinar originally was. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the storm has to be hitting, like, Queen Fen is Thelena, right?
Yeah.
So the storm has to be hitting Thelena for her to be able to be in this vision.
Mm-hmm.
And Dalinar just has to like sit there and wait, and then is like, all right, we're in.
Let's do it.
So
I have marked here how Dalinar whispered to the Stormfather, how do we get the armor? Speak the words. Which words? You will know or you will not. Great. Just confirming.
I got tied up over
You
here.
get you get the armor from Oaths.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I really like that this was the first vision that we ever saw from Dalinar.
Was it the first one?
Yes.
Oh, right, it is, because he I remember now.
Yep. And I like that it is now different for Fen, and that Fen, being a whole different person, has chosen to do something completely different.
Yeah,
It feels very video gamey.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it's like one of those, like, it's like a Telltale game, you know, where you make different choices and based on what you do is like what you get.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, you get whatever ending.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Baldur's Gate.
It's like Baldur's Gate.
It's just like Baldur's Gate.
It's just like Baldur's Gate. Okay. Chapter 35.
Burst into the sky. I want to say I love the insignia we get like on the top of this one. And what's really cool, and I marked it, but whenever we get the chapters with Moash, the patch is like ripped off. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Because this is my first time reading these books.
Yeah.
This is my first time noticing that. So I was very happily surprised.
I mean, I'm sure I noticed last time I read it. I actually think because we did our reread so much like later in the year last time, I didn't like, I don't know, I guess I wasn't processing that stuff. And I think I ended up listening to the audiobooks more than I did read it last time too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool to see things like that. Like I literally know I have one of these like sticky notes is like here on the page, like where the insignia is. Because I just was like, that's cool.
It is.
Yeah. So anyway.
Sigzil wakes up and begins his day. He tells Kaladin all the issues with Bridge 4, and they come to agree that they need to recruit. Lynn comes by, and Kaladin asks if she'll be a scribe, but she wants to be a windrunner. Kaladin says that she can try out and tells Sigzil that his homeland was wasteful in not using him. They then go to get some gemstones to practice being radiant.
Yeah, the only thing I have a note on in this chapter is when Kaladin's talking to Lynn.
Yeah. No, go for it.
Yeah. So Kaladin goes, "Oh yeah, like a written account will save me from having to explain it all the time." And Lynn's like, "Oh, a scribe." Kaladin says, "Of course, you're a woman, aren't you?" She was like, "I thought you were asking. I mean, in the High Prince's visions, there were women who were knights radiant, and with Brightness Shallan." Sir, I didn't join the scouts because I like sitting around staring at ledgers. If that's what you're offering, I'll have to pass. Her shoulders fell and she wouldn't meet Kaladin's eyes. Sigzil found strangely that he wanted to punch his captain. Not hard, mind you. Just a gentle wake-up punch. He couldn't remember feeling that way with Kaladin since the time the captain had woken him up that first morning back in Sadius's war camp. Yeah, and then he says, I see. Well, we're going to have tryouts to join the order proper. I suppose I could extend an invitation if you'd like. Tryouts, she said, for real positions, not just doing accounts? Storms, I'm in. And then a little bit later, Sigzil says, after she walks away, he says, I have a suggestion, sir. Try to understand what people want out of life and respect that. Rather than projecting onto them what you think they should. Shut it, Sig. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
I love Sigzil.
Me too.
I love in this, we get, because it happens throughout the rest of this part, but particularly this one, I like that we get a different like perspective of somebody in Bridge 4 And it's not just like an Alethi perspective. It's like Sigil, who is Azish.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of like see like, oh yeah, the Alethi don't have like a lot of procedures as much as like his homeland, and that like really frustrates him.
Yeah.
Because like he's used to like that structure and everything, and I just really enjoy that. I don't know. I like that we get these little tidbits. Hello, Zeus. From everybody.
Yeah, me too. And like we get like one. Oh my god! I'll wait till we get there actually to talk about it because it's one that makes me like a little teary-eyed.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything else for this chapter.
Yeah, neither do I.
The dog is really staring into your soul right now, though.
I just also like how it ends.
Yeah.
We're going to practice being radiant.
Yeah.
Like he says, I want to be the first one in the sky. It's great.
All right, chapter 36, Hero.
Dalinar flashback.
Da-da-da.
Gavilar comes to visit Dalinar and a pregnant Evie. He tells Dalinar that the heir to the rift is causing issues. Evie is delighted that Dalinar did not kill a child.
Yeah, that's something we didn't talk about in the last part.
We did not.
The fact that Dalinar was in the chapter with where the rift happens. Mm-hmm. Dalinar ends up killing the father for the sword, Oathbringer. And his heir is in there, like the mother and the child, and the kid's so young.
Mm-hmm.
And Dalinar just like tells Gavilar after, like, yeah, it's been taken care of.
Yeah.
But we find out here, he really told the mother and child to like go and hide.
Yep. And
so he ended up saving the heir to that kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't kill a child.
He did not kill a child.
Even though the Blackthorn is like, so ruthless, he still had some conscience, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I like so this is like in that part, but there is like a scene where the kid is talking to him and he's like, stay away from my daddy.
Yeah.
And he like can't even wield the shard blade, and he said, my daddy said we fight monsters. Yeah. And I think that's what gets Dalinar to Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's not a monster.
I mean, he was,
Yeah. All right.
All right. Do you have anything else for that chapter?
No.
No? Okay.
Is this the chapter that got you?
No, mine's a bridge 4. Wait, maybe. This is the one that got me.
This is the one that got me too.
The first word, I was like, actually, yeah, this is the one. Okay, so chapter 37, last time we march. I think I teared up twice in this chapter.
Yeah, same.
All right.
Tell us Rock and Bridge 4 travel to the Shattered Plains to practice. He gives men some advice and notices Honor Spren watching the would-be Windrunners. They then come across his family to his delight. Bridge 4 then marches with their bridge for the final time. Before we start, Whitney, I want to just hear you pronounce Rock's name. And then I want to try.
I feel like I'm about to butcher this so bad. Is this just for you to get a sick laugh, Ryan?
No, I had a sick laugh because I'm going to try right after you. Okay. Do you want me to go first?
No, I got it. I remember listening to it on the audiobook and I was like, I'm going to remember how to say this.
Okay.
And I definitely did not. Numuhuku Makia Kiai Lunamore.
Numuhuku Makiaki Ialunamore.
You definitely were more correct than I was.
I don't know.
I think you were more correct than I was.
It's the name.
I hope everybody had a laugh at home.
Mm-hmm.
I will never do that again. His name is Rock. Or like Lunamore, as far as I'm concerned.
Lunamore. So, first thing I have marked down.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Rock can see Spren because of his people, and they bathe in the waters in his homelands and whatnot. In the hot springs. Yes, that's a word. He said right here, talking about Anticipation Spren. He said they were lesser gods, but still holy. He could see their true shapes beyond the streamers, a faint shadow of a larger creature at the bottom.
Interesting.
So that means there's more to Spren than what's normal.
Yeah, so maybe we're not like seeing a bunch of Spren, but maybe one just large Spren.
Maybe. And before that, Kaladin looked around. Where's Teft?
Yeah.
He was only just noticing Lunamore loved their captain, but he got distracted sometimes. Maybe air sickness. Teft didn't come back to the barracks last night, sir. Leighton called, looking uncomfortable. Just gonna drop that there.
Yeah. I mean, we know, but...
We know, but we'll get there.
There's a very nice moment with Hobber. Where Hobber drinks in Stormlight.
Yep.
And Lunamore is like freaking out. Well, Hobber and Lunamore are both like really excited. And Lunamore stepped back to give the bridgemen their stations. As the bridgemen left their stations and came over, give him your gemstones, Kaladin called. He's going to need a lot. Pile them up. Bridgemen scrambled to give Hobber their emeralds as he drew in more and more Stormlight. Then the light suddenly dampened. I can feel them again. I can feel my toes. He tentatively reached out for support, Drahe under one arm, Pete under the other. Hobber slipped off his stool and stood up. He grinned with a gap-toothed expression and almost fell over. His legs obviously weren't very strong. Drahe and Pete righted him, but he forced them back to let him stand precariously on his own. The men of Bridge 4 waited only briefly before pressing in with cries of excitement. Joyce Friends swirled them around the group like a sweeping gust of blue leaves. Amid them, Lopin shoved in close and made the Bridge 4 salute. It seemed to mean something special coming from him. 2 arms. I just think that's nice.
It is.
Like, the fact that, you know, Hobber's been paralyzed this whole time.
Yep.
And the first one to give him a salute was one of the first people at Bridge 4 to, like, suck in Stormlight and grow his arm back.
Yep.
I just think that's really nice, and I like the symbolism.
It is. It's great. Get some stuff with Renarin here.
Yeah.
For some reason, Rock can't see Renarin's Spren.
Yeah. Well, nobody's been able to see it.
No.
Nobody has seen it besides Renarin, as far as we know.
Yes. And let's see. When Renarin is talking to Rock, he says, I'm already the oddest one out of this bunch. Is that so? Don't deny it, Rock. Lopin is, well, Lopin. And you're obviously, you. But I'm still the strange one. I'm always been the strangest one. Lunamore slapped dough onto a rock, then pointed toward where Relaine, the Parshendi bridgeman they used to call Shen, sat in a rock near his squad, watching quietly as the others laughed at Eth having accidentally stuck a stone to his hand. He wore war form and was taller and stronger than he had been before, but the humans seemed to have completely forgotten that he was there. Oh, Renarin said, I don't know if he counts. This thing is what everyone always tells him, over and over again. Yeah, Renarin. You're not the strangest one here. I gotta say, bud.
Bud. Yeah.
And I like that Rock seems to be, he's a wise man.
Yeah.
He's a very wise man. Mm-hmm. I like Rock a lot.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's because he's not an airsick lowlander.
Mm-hmm. It's true. He recognizes he recognizes the skills and like the type of people that others are.
Yeah. So the next thing I have marked is when they find Rock's family, and he's so excited. One of his kids doesn't recognize him, like, because it's been so long since the kid's grown up enough, but he was so little that he like doesn't remember him, and he's like, You know what? It's fine. We'll fix it with time. Mm-hmm. Explains to his wife that he's a chef now because obviously the other brothers had been killed, and
Yes.
you know how their hierarchy works with like the brothers and how they get assigned. Lunamore rested his fingers on the smooth wood. Well, hold on, pause. Go walk with your family, Rock. We can handle the bridge without you today. We have Stormlight. Lunamore rested his fingers on the smooth wood. No, he said. It will be a privilege to carry him one last time for my family. One last time, Kaladin said. We take to the skies, Stormblessed. We will walk no more in counting days. This is the end. He looked back toward a subdued Bridge 4 group who seemed to sense what he said was true. Ha! Do not look so sad. I left great stew back near city. However, we'll probably not ruin it before we return. Come, pick up our bridge. The last time, we marched not toward death, but toward full stomachs and good songs. Despite his urging, it was a solemn, respectful group who lifted the bridge. They were slaves no longer. Storms. In their pockets they carried riches. They glowed fiercely, and soon their skin did as well. Kaladin took his place at the front. Together they carried the bridge on one final run, reverently, as if it were the bier of a king being taken onto his tomb for his eternal rest. I have like a tear in my eye.
Dude, it gets you,
heard
man.
my voice crack for a second.
I heard it, dude. It gets you. It gets you.
It does. It really does.
Come on, man.
Because like everything we've known up until now just like is Bridge 4.
This is the literal Bridge 4.
Yeah. And like they're always going to be Bridge 4.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just always what it's going to be, but not in the same way ever again.
Yeah. Love it. Do you know a part that kind of got me?
What?
That like, or just really made me happy?
What was it?
It's when Rock is with his wife.
Yeah. It's a really sweet.
And he's like, he says this. It says this. He pulled back and met her eyes. They called her dark-eyed down here, though he found infinite depth, beauty, and light in those deep brown-green eyes. I literally have a note right here that just says, he loves his wife's smiley face. Dude, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That stuff gets me.
No, it gets me too.
I'm just like, man.
I remember reading that and being like, and just like him reuniting with his kids again. I don't know why I'm hugging myself. I just feel like I need it.
Yeah. You're ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do chapter 38.
Chapter 38. Dalinar brings Navani and Yasna into a vision, and they begin examining for clues. I'm going to read it normal now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Dalinar brings Navani and Yasna into a vision, and they begin examining for clues. The Stormfather then tells them the story of the Heralds and the Oath Pact. Dalinar realizes the madman with the shard blade is actually a herald. The Stormfather refuses to tell them what caused the recreants. I'll start us off with
Okay.
chapter header. Still somebody responding to our other letter.
Yes.
Your skills are admirable, but you are merely a man. You had your chance to be more and refused it. Very interesting.
Rappo. What I have marked here first. The sounds of fighting came from above, but even craning his neck, he couldn't see much, though a body did roll down the incline, then slip off the ledge. Those are humans, Dalinar said. Obviously. I never put it together before, Dalinar said. They were men who fought for the Voidbringers. Some. And that shardbearer I saw? A herald? No, merely a stone ward. That surge that changed the stone is the other you may learn, though it may serve you differently. But yeah, just like Dalinar realizing, and I mean, we probably could have always assumed this, but the fact that humans, fought alongside the Voidbringers at one point, crazy. Excuse me. That's what I got to start.
Yeah. I like that Navani immediately sees this funny device that seems to heal people, and is just like scientist brain has to go watch.
Has to look right now.
Yeah, and just like starts asking this Radiant, like, what is this?
There is a very nice interaction between Dalinar and Yasna in this chapter.
Yeah.
I would like to talk
Go ahead.
about. Let's see. I wish I had answers, Uncle. Fighting makes you strong, but also callous. I worry I've learned too much of the latter and not enough of the former, but I can give you a warning. He looked toward her, raising his eyebrows. They will try, Yasna said, to define you by something you are not. Don't let them. I can be a scholar, a woman, a historian, a radiant. People will still try to classify me by the thing that makes me an outsider. They want, ironically, the thing I don't do or believe to be the prime marker of my identity. I have always rejected that and continued to do so. She reached over and put her free hand on his arm. You are not a heretic, Dalinar Kholin. You are a king, a radiant, and a father. You are a man with complicated beliefs who does not accept everything you are told. You decide how you are defined. Don't surrender that to them. They will gleefully take the chance to define you if you allow it. And
It's good.
I really like that.
Yeah, because he's going through what Yasna went through, being called a heretic and everything.
Yeah. And she's like, I know you're not a heretic.
Yeah.
And you just aren't. Because he still has like beliefs through all this, weirdly.
Yes.
He just has all God dead.
Yeah, he believes that the Almighty honor was never really the Almighty per se.
Yeah.
That he was just something else.
Right. But yeah, I just think that whole little interaction's just really nice. Speaks to me personally.
We finally learn what happened with the Oath Pact.
Yeah.
And who'd thought the prelude to the Stormlight Archive? What we saw the very, very beginning
Yeah.
of the Way of Kings. Finally explained to us, like fully.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that?
It's crazy.
2 books later.
Had to Raffo.
Had to Rafa. Yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, without like just reading off like what all he says. Basically, there were 10 heralds given power by Honor, the Almighty. I think just Honor? No, not just Honor. Given power. They had an oath where they would fight the Voidbringers, and then once they died, they went to damnation and were tortured. And once one of them returned back to life, let's just say, then another desolation would come. Right?
I believe so.
Yes. Yeah. Then the Voidbringers would also return, and the process would start all over again. And they would basically take torture for as long as they could until one of them cracked. And finally just got too much that desolations were coming like less than 10 years apart. Was it 5 years?
Something like that. Like a really short amount of time.
And that happened. And finally this last time, only one of them died. And they left him in damnation by himself because he had never broken before.
Yeah.
And they all left their swords. And that was that. And then a Shin man came and took all the swords.
Yep.
Yep.
Just said, these are for me now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And during all that, Devani asked like the Stormfather about like the records and everything, and Stormfather said, that's a deeper secret that I will not talk to you about.
Yeah. He said, yeah, you don't need to know.
Which is like, okay.
I kind of hate it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to know.
It's just like, you told us all this.
Right. So why can't you
Was it
tell us
really
a
that
little
bad?
bit more? Because like Dalinar's like, I swear I'm not gonna like do what these other Radiants did. Like I'm not gonna get that upset about whatever this big secret is. And the Almighty's still like, or Stormfather's just like,
Is it bad I can't even really remember the secret?
I'll tell you.
Yeah, tell me afterwards.
After the pod.
Because I feel like I know it, but I'm also just like, is that really it?
Yeah. We'll find out later.
I can't remember. Yeah, you're just going to have to remind me after the pod.
I remember it was something so like earth shattering for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember what it was. I remember what it was. Never mind.
Never mind.
We'll find out.
We'll find
out in this book.
Is it this book or is it Rhythm of War?
Oh, I think it's this one. I think it is.
We'll find out. Anyways,
Yeah.
you want to move on to chapter 39?
Let's move on to chapter 39.
Awesome illustration right here, by the way.
Oh, yeah. The Haba and everything.
Yeah.
Shout out the 39 clues. Did you read those as a kid?
No, I don't know what that is.
I think it's 39 clues.
I literally don't know what you're talking about.
39 clues.
Like, this means nothing to me right now.
The kids' books. Really?
No.
It was like these siblings who, like,
I've never
a
seen
different
those.
author wrote a different book for every single one, and they were like, you have to find the 39 clues to find like this treasure or whatever. I never read all of them because there's 39 books.
I was a Warrior Cats kid.
I was too.
I don't know.
We can talk about that after the pod.
She jumped.
Okay.
All right, chapter 39.
Yeah. If you remember the 39 clues, let me know. First one is written by Rick Riordan.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. At the beginning, Shallan is again frustrated with Yasna as she makes her take the notes for the meeting. The meeting goes on with Kaladin informing them of the parchment infused and tells them his perspective. Yasna disagrees with him and then notices Shallan's notes. They stop the meeting and Shallan says that her wardship should be over. Yasna says no it's not and says she's proud of Shallan.
Yeah. I don't have any notes in this chapter in particular.
Yeah, I don't either.
But yeah.
Is this the first time Kaladin's met Yasna?
I think technically yes.
Cool. The first time we see them interacting
Yeah. Because, yeah.
on screen. Yeah.
Yeah, because she, like, died
Yeah.
on a boat when they were going back to the Shattered Plains.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is the first time we've seen them in the same room.
Cool.
Yeah. And also just, like, I think it's really not interesting. I guess interesting. I don't know. But this is where, like, I don't know, with where Shallan is at, you just kind of assume, like, she's probably done with her wardship, you know. She's done everything. Like, she's a Radiant now, you know.
Yeah.
Like, now she has every access to knowledge in the world with, like, where she's at. Like, does she really need to be a ward still? And Yasna's like, yeah.
Yeah, you do.
I can't lie. I was, like, a little annoyed for Shallan. I was like, man, you're, like, full on, like, royalty, basically. And, like, you still have to be a ward? You guys still got to take notes in a meeting?
I see both. Perspectives.
I do too.
Yeah. Chapter 40.
Questions, peaks, and inferences.
Shallan reads the letter from Erase, which reveals Helleran's secrets. Later, Vale goes and meets with Shallan's guards and complains about Shallan, and they ask Vale if Shallan will give them anything else to do. She then catches Ishna spying on them, and the woman tells her that she is a spy and she could be of use. She says that she can join her if she can teach the men about espionage. Okay, Whitney.
Okay, Ryan.
Do you know that theory that we came up with?
Oh, yeah. Because we forgot that this entire scene happened in this book.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Turns out we were right. Kinda.
No.
We knew he was a shard bearer. I got that right.
Well, yeah, we knew he was a shard bearer.
I got that part right.
We knew we thought we thought that he said oaths.
Mm-hmm.
He had not said oaths yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway.
Well, so just to let everybody know, we were wrong.
We were wrong.
And we forgot that this entire scene happened.
Thank you, Zybus.
Did he tell us we were wrong?
He told us. He did. He told us, he commented, and it was, when he commented, I literally read this chapter that day and said, oh yeah, I got there today and what could not even fathom how wrong I was.
And you know what? It's okay.
No, he said there's a lot to remember with these books.
There really is. And like, yeah, I'm not even going to try to argue for myself.
I'm not.
We were wrong.
I'm
and
not.
That's all right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it. What actually happened?
So he was a skybreaker.
Mm-hmm.
He was working for Nail.
Yes.
Which is who Zeth is with now.
Yes.
He had not said oaths, but he obviously was enticed by Nail with shards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know why that he wanted to kill Amaram, right? No, because he was with the Sons of Honor. That's why.
Yeah.
Amaram was a Son of Honor. That's why. Nail wanted him. Skybreakers wanted him.
Wants him dead.
Wants him dead.
And Gavilar was also Sons of Honor, right?
Yes.
I think. Jinx. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I guess we will find out. You like that voice crack? I'm still going through puberty.
Who are you? I guess we'll find out. Yeah.
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 Pretty wacky, crazy stuff happening, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy information. I don't know if I have anything else except I do like Ishna.
You do like Ishna?
I like Ishna. I like Ishna a lot. I wouldn't say a lot. I like her.
Yeah. I have a thing right before we get to Ishna, actually.
Okay.
When they're playing a game, they're playing like a card game and they're gambling.
Mm-hmm.
It says the 4 players all tossed in some spears. Pieces was one of those games that the Voron Church grudgingly allowed, as it involved no randomization. Dice, drawing from a deck of cards, even shuffling up the pieces. Betting on such things was like trying to guess the future. And that was so deeply wrong. Thinking of it made Vale's skin crawl. Even, she wasn't even particularly religious. Not like Shalon was. So you just see another complete disconnect right there.
Yep.
She's like...
Thank you for pointing out all of these, too.
Yeah, where Vale's just like...
Yep.
I'm not as religious as Shalon, but that still makes me a little uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like... You are...
You are...
You are...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You are.
You are. End of statement.
Yeah.
So talk about Ishna if you want.
I think I just like her character. We'll learn a little more about her later on in this part.
Mm-hmm.
I like that she, she got told no once, and then comes back and she's literally in disguise, and she says to Shalon / Vale that, oh, you didn't notice me last time.
Yeah.
And she's like, last time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh, okay. And
She's got some skill.
she's got some skill, and Vale recognizes this, uses the excuse of, oh, train these men. Mm-hmm. That'll prove yourself. And also, maybe I can learn something too.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, like using it to her advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah. All right.
Chapter
You ready?
41. On the ground looking up. Teft woke up, unfortunately.
Uh-huh. Heft wakes up in an alley after a night of using the moss. Not willing to go back to the barracks, he goes back to the moss until Kaladin and Rock come and find him. He apologizes to the men, but knows he won't have his moss for a few days more. I'll start off talking by the chapter header again, Whitney.
Okay.
Just some more of this letter. Regardless, this is not your concern. You turned your back on divinity. If Rays becomes an issue, he will be dealt with, and so will you. There's that name Rays.
Yeah, we saw Rays on an earlier chapter header as well. Already.
Yes, in the last book.
And this one.
And this one?
Yeah, a couple chapters ago.
Oh, okay.
I shouldn't say anything about it, because... yeah.
I think we've heard only one other person use that name in the book.
Yeah. Not in the... We haven't heard anyone use it in this one yet.
Not in this one, but in the previous book or the book before. We've heard a character mention that name.
Yeah.
So you can probably guess who wrote that letter. This chapter sucks, man.
Yeah, it makes me feel not awesome. And, like, it sucks because, like, I really like Teft as a character. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, it just makes you feel bad. And, like, he literally sold his jacket, like, his coat.
Yeah.
To buy more moss.
Yeah.
And I like that... I really like that Kaladin chooses, like, to not really judge him and just, like, pays off his debt and is like, whatever. And, like, we're just going to take him back and, like, let him recover. And that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So... it's nice there's not judgment.
I feel like it's a good portrayal of addiction.
100%, yeah.
I think it's a really, really good portrayal of addiction.
I'd agree.
Yeah. We also learned that Teft has said oaths.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And has a spren.
Yes. And the spren is, like, not stoked about the way Teft is acting.
No. Yeah, okay, chapter 42. Yeah.
Yeah, we can stop talking about the sad stuff now.
Yeah. It's a very good chapter. I really like that chapter, but it's something that I don't know if we necessarily can talk about a lot. Yeah. Would you just make a note?
Me moving my mic down because it was quiet when I did it. So.
Yeah. Chapter 42.
Consequences.
Dalinar is in a vision with Yonaghan and approaches him after a battle. Yonaghan is skeptical that Dalinar really brought him here and of Dalinar's intentions based on the past between Aesir and Alethkar. Lift shows up and tells Gox not to trust Dalinar, and the Stormfather is upset at the Night Watcher for making Lift.
She says not to trust Dalinar because he has a tight butt.
He has a tight butt. Old people aren't supposed to have tight butts. That's right, Lift. They're supposed to have saggy, frumpy butts.
She's right.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't have any notes except what the Stormfather says.
Okay.
That woman, this is a creation specifically meant to defy my will. A woman? That child is tainted by the Night Watcher. Technically, so am I. This is different. This is unnatural. She's gone too far.
And it's unnatural. It's just Lift. It's just Lift.
Something's up with Lift. I cannot wait to learn what is up with Lift.
Yeah.
I need to know immediately.
What's wrong with her?
Yeah, what's her deal? And you know what the bad thing is, Whitney?
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to learn in Wind and Truth.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think we'll get
something? I think we will get something. I do not think we will get full answers until
Era 2.
At 6 through 10, yeah.
Oh, no. Well.
All right. Yeah, I don't have anything else in that chapter. I like that you learn the history between Aesir and Alethkar, though. It's good world building.
Yeah. I just, it is so, and I mean, it makes sense because of the way we see Dalinar's, like, flashbacks. Just everyone he talks to is like, you've conquered us before, you're gonna conquer us again. Like, we don't want to let you in our city. Like, it's just the same thing over and over, but it makes complete sense. Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Chapter 43.
You see, I marked the.
Oh, yeah. Spearman.
Even the circle outside of the image is like broken a little bit.
Is it? I'm gonna look back and let's see.
And compare and see if it's.
Yeah, is it?
I don't know. I also want to go back and
because
compare
it's something I haven't noticed either. Yeah.
The complete circle when the.
It's a complete circle.
Yeah, so the circle's a little bit. So we're talking
It's
about.
broken.
For anyone that's listening.
It's rugged.
If you have a physical copy of the book, before the chapters, there's like kind of like a stamp that is reminiscent of whoever is like narrating that chapter. And with like any of the Bridge 4 chapters, it's been the insignia on the coat, and it's a full complete circle of that. And now we're about to get into a chapter with Moash, and the outside circle is broken, and you can see where the patch has been, but it's been ripped off.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
really cool. I didn't even notice the circle.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
I just noticed the circle now, but
Yeah.
I just noticed the patch earlier.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Chapter 43. Spearman. Moash is with Graves, and they are trying to make their way to safety. The group is attacked, and Moash is the last to remain. Giving up using his shard blade, he picks up a spear and manages to kill a fused, and is then captured into slavery.
Yep. He sure is.
Something up with the fused right here. Dark light, like inverse stormlight, clung to each of them. Graves had spoken of these creatures, calling their return merely one of the many events predicted by the inscrutable diagram.
Yeah, so we get another reference to the diagram as well. We knew Graves was like kind of involved with that, but you know, just more confirmation on that. I like that when Moash is in this fight with the fused,
Yeah.
he makes the choice to pick up a spear and dismiss his shard blade.
Yep.
And he
says something.
in his voice, or in his head, he hears Kaladin's voice. You can't fear a shard blade. You can't fear light eyes on horseback. They kill with fear first and the sword second. Stand your ground. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, even though he knows he's done this horrible thing, he like can't help but hear Kaladin and hear the advice that like he was given over the past like year. It's just, yeah.
And he says, like, Bridge 4, you bastards.
Yeah.
He still considers himself part of Bridge 4 somewhat.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate you, Moash.
Yeah. It's
Moash, when I get you, Moash.
So when I get my grubby little mitts on you, I think there's a good. I'll talk about like the dichotomy between the two maybe a little bit. So in this scene, we see Moash let go of his shard blade and pick up the spear and whatnot. Very reminiscent of what Kaladin has done.
Yeah.
Multiple times now, where he chooses not to use a shard blade. Instead, he's like stay in his rank and just use a spear and everything. And even when Kaladin becomes like a radiant and whatnot, he most of the time uses a spear. The Sill spear, what people call it. He'll use her as a shard blade a lot of times, but it's mostly a spear. And I think that's very much like, okay, Moash is like Kaladin in that regard, that he is choosing, this is not for me. This is not who I am. I am not one of them. I do not want to be one of them. And picks up the common man's weapon because he's better at it. He's equipped to it, much like Kaladin. So
Yeah.
it's good. It's good.
It is very good.
I like Moash and Kaladin a lot.
Can't relate.
I don't like Moash, but I do like Moash.
I understand.
Yeah, there's
I just can't get past my
a
hate.
Moash apologist panel at Dragonsteel this year.
I will not be in attendance.
I might.
I will not be there.
I might be. I might be.
All right, you ready to talk about chapter 44?
Yep.
We'll do it.
The bright side. Vale and the gang are practicing observation and then goes off to another meeting. Now Shallan is a little late for a meeting of scholars and surprised to see that Renarin has joined them. She defends him from a comment by Yanala, and Yasna tells her that she still hasn't learned to watch her tongue. Renarin thanks her, and soon Dalinar joins to support his son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only note I have is at the very end of that chapter. But I do really like the interaction between Shallan and what is her name? Yanala? Yanala, sorry.
Don't apologize to me.
Sorry in general. Forever. Yeah, I like that Shallan sticks up for Renarin.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Feels good in my heart and my soul.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you protect that weird kid.
Yeah. I love that Dalinar comes to support his son, man.
That's what I marked at the end.
That made me so happy.
Yeah, like
Talk about it.
At the very end of the chapter, it says they started up again. Everyone obviously self-conscious because Dalinar had walked in the room. You'd have thought that Dalinar would know to stay away from meetings like this where women and scribes. Shallan cocked her head as she saw Renarin glance at his father. Dalinar responded with a raised fist. He came so Renarin wouldn't feel awkward, Shallan realized. It can't be improper or feminine for the prince to be here if the storming Blackthorn decides to attend. She didn't miss the way that Renarin actually raised his eyes to watch the rest of the proceedings. Oh!
Yeah. What a good dad.
I know. Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's a good dad.
Mm-hmm.
Used to not be.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's awesome.
So, chapter 45.
A revelation.
Moash is dropped off in Revelar and meets up with an old caravaneer. He meets the High Lord of the town and realizes that the High Lord is doing nothing to help the people outside. He then goes and signs up for the hard labor task.
Yeah. I don't have any notes in this chapter.
I find it really interesting that they're allowed to volunteer for tasks.
Yeah, I think like they're trying to be better than the Alethi, or just like the people that kept them as slaves.
They are.
Like sometimes you see it and you're like, oh, they're not trying to be better, but like I feel like they are trying to be better. But I also find it interesting they've kind of like still allowed the like city lord to
be in charge.
Yeah. And I mean, like obviously he's like not in charge, but they've still let him like kind of have his little like rally, I guess. Where he still is somehow in charge of like the underground. I don't know how to describe that.
Yeah. Old Guff.
Old Guff.
Bad at cussing.
Yeah.
I thought he was funny.
He is funny. He's a very funny character. And it also like kind of gives you like, we already know that Moash had like a past with like caravaneers.
Yeah.
But it proves it even more when he shows up here and he's like, hey, I know this guy.
Yeah.
You know, where can I find this guy that is this guy that's been been part of a caravan for forever. So lore.
Moash lore. Yeah, and I mean you hit all the talking points. Hell yeah.
Case in point.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Chapter 46, When the Dream Dies.
When the dream dies. Scar races across Urithiru. He reaches Sigzil and is given his time. Disappointed, Scar laments that he still hasn't been able to breathe in Stormlight. Kaladin arrives, bringing the new recruits, and they all travel to the Shattered Plains. All of them practicing how to draw in Stormlight. Scar helps Lyn achieve this. He goes to Rock and says it looks like he's going to have to join him. But Rock points out that he's glowing right now.
Yeah. I don't have...
Yeah.
I mean, we find out more about Scar's backstory, like he was a part of the Black Caps, which is like Aladar's personal guard. Or not, he wasn't a part of it, but they didn't really like his application, quote unquote, but they really didn't let him in because he was small, short. He was a short guy. And yeah, so he gets in a little bit of trouble with that, and I think that's kind of how he ended up on the bridge cruise.
Yeah, he stole their
armor out of like their barracks, which is like
very funny.
Yeah.
They did not find it funny.
Yes, and then he was a bridgeman, so obviously we know how that went.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I don't really have anything else. It's exciting that Lynn was able to breathe in Stormlight. You know, we have a woman windrunner now.
Yep.
Which is exciting.
Yep.
Our first like woman outside of our like main cast and crew.
Yeah.
To become Radiant, which is super exciting. We love inclusivity.
Well, the stump.
Okay, well, that's in the novella though.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
In these books.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then now Scar also is.
Yeah.
Glowing.
Don't you like that at the end where Brock is just like, "You're glowing right now."
Yeah. He's like, I could have you wash dishes, but you keep throwing things on the ground, and because he's just so excited. So
I have this right here. I'll say what I want. Tef snapped. If that boy's not going to come, maybe I should be going. I have things to do. Scar hesitated, glancing up at Teft. Not that, Teft growled. I've barely touched the stuff in days. You'd think a man had never had a wild night out, the way you're all treating me. Didn't say a thing, Teft. Knowing what we've suffered, it's insane to think that we wouldn't need something to get us through the day. The moss isn't the problem. It's the storming world going all crazy. That's the problem. Sure is, Teft. Teft eyed him, then studied his chapter roll intently. So, how long have the men known? I mean, did anyone? Not long. Nobody's even thinking about it. Teft nodded and didn't see through the lie. Trust not. Truth was, most of them noticed Teft sneaking off to grind a little moss now and then. It wasn't uncommon in the army, but doing what he'd done, and it goes on.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also like, you know, accurate portrayal of addiction.
It is.
You have this trauma that's happened to you, and some people choose to cope with things like in this book, you know, being fire moss. So, you know,
how Scar talks to Teft and how Teft is talking to him is so real.
Yeah.
Is so real because you know. Have you ever talked to somebody going through this before?
You know, I can say
interacted, maybe per se.
I would say I've gotten really lucky with the people I'm around. I've never really had anyone close to me have like an active addiction. At least not this severe. You know, I definitely have known people that have had that issue, but most of them I feel like have figured it out on their own, thankfully. I've never had to like intervene.
I've never had to intervene as well, but I've definitely interacted with somebody who has gone through addiction before. It's one of those things. You don't bring it up.
Yeah.
You do not bring it up.
Yeah.
And they will get defensive about stuff like that, and like that's understandable. They're addicted.
Yeah.
I don't blame them at all. Because it is a disease.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's a very well done interaction.
I agree with you.
Yeah. I think that's all I got, Whitney.
All right. Well, let's move on to chapter 47 then. So much is lost.
Yasna reads the notes from Taln. She discusses via Spanreed with her colleagues about her notes and the Radiance. She speaks with Ivory about Chalon, and he believes she is unstable. No kidding. And he doesn't trust cryptics. She wants to share the information she learned from Wit, but Ivory disagrees.
Yeah.
So Wit told her something.
He did. We don't know what that
No,
something
we do not.
is.
No, we do not.
So,
Well, we know it would be another recreance.
yeah.
So it's probably the information that caused the first recreance.
Right.
Yeah.
That we don't know because the Stormfather wouldn't tell Dalinar.
I like that there's more cryptic hate.
Yeah. It's so funny because, like, I mean, to us, it's like, Pattern's just like a funny little guy.
He's just a funny little guy.
And apparently there's so much beef and, like, Shadesmart for these people. Or Spren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
I don't have any notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 48.
Rhythm of work.
Moash appreciates how well he is being treated by his captors. However, is confused why one group of Parshmen are being treated harshly. It's a group that harbored Kaladin, and Moash has had enough and stops them from being whipped further.
Yeah. The only thing I have marked is when he asks, like, what did that group deserve such rough treatment? And they tell him they harbored a false god, brought him into the very center among us. The Almighty, he asks. She laughed. A real false god, a living one, like our living gods. And they looked up as the fuse passed overhead. So that just, like, it confirms for us that they see the fused are their gods returned.
Yeah.
Those are, like, the real void bringers, and to our understanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it says, like, a false god, they are talking about Kaladin. So, which makes me feel bad because in the chapter where he dips and decides that he's like, I'm good. I've done everything I need to do here with, like, these Parshmen. He even, like, has a thought in his head where he's like, I hope this doesn't affect them and the way they're treated.
Right. And
So-
because it does.
Yeah, and it does end up affecting them. And obviously, like, even Moash is like, why are they being treated so much worse than the rest of us? And then even, like, the whole thing at the end of this chapter is him being like, you are trying to be better than the humans are to you, and you're doing the same stuff you are with these people
That's
here.
what I had marked down right here.
Yeah, talk about it.
He said, stop it. Don't you see what you're doing? You're becoming like us. You can't abuse each other. You can't. Like, that's kind of all he says, but it's like...
The implication is there.
He kind of is like seeing, like, with the... Going back previously with him, seeing, like, the High Lord and everything, he sees the system as just broken.
Yeah.
And he sees this as like, all right, our system didn't work, and it's not going to work. Here is, like, something new, something that might be different, and yeah, I'm not going to be, like, free, and I'm not going to be in charge. That's fine. He's fine with that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to see them go into a broken system like he's already been a part of.
Yeah.
Which is just, Moash, what do you... I don't know. I see the logic,
Yeah.
but also, my man, what are you doing?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Kaladin led them here, caused them to be mistreated. Who comes to save them, though? Moash.
Messed up world we live in.
Messed up world we live
If
in.
Moash has to come save you, it's a messed up world we're living in.
You ready?
Yeah, chapter 49, Born Unto Light.
Dalinar is in a bar and is disappointed nobody wants to fight him, but learns why. Toh comes and tells him that his wife is giving birth. Dalinar arrives and learns he has had a son and names him. Gavilar tells him that he's being sent out to stop some border disputes, but Dalinar is hesitant too.
Yeah. Crazy thing happens where Dalinar's like, I want somebody to fight me. I just need a release.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey man, you know that you left like two or three people like permanently like paralyzed
Yeah.
or like messed up really bad in some
One was
way.
like paralyzed, one was like
His like hit his head so hard that he's like,
is like a child.
yeah, he like can't, is not functioning as well anymore. And
Yeah.
like, yeah. And Dalinar's like, what are you talking about? I don't remember that.
And he's like, yeah, you were drunk.
Yeah. We also see Dalinar like using fire moss here as well. Recreationally.
Evie, she gives birth to Adolin. And he names him like, I like that we kind of see like some of the naming conventions here.
Yeah.
Where Adada, light, without a suffix, my lord. Adodan, Adadal, Lin, born unto. A good name. So like, born unto light.
Born unto light, yeah. And I like that he's like picking his kid up and he's like swirling him around and everyone's like, oh my God, be careful. And he's like, oh, he's a colon. He's made of hearty stuff. And he's just so excited to have a son.
Yeah.
That's what she's like, oh, it's a boy. And he's like, I have a son. And then finally he understands the way that Gavilar has felt. Is to like, oh my God, I understand like not wanting to go into war and like be this tyrant anymore because of this kid, this baby. I want to protect them and I don't want to die.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. So he gets that. Let's see.
We learned about it previously in Yasna's perspective that she had some childhood
lunacy,
and it's brought up here.
Yeah.
Where Dalinar is just like, it's your daughter, her lunacy. Yasna is fine and recovering. I was like, oh, okay, so something happened with Yasna.
I marked that as well. But yeah, then they're talking about Rathalos and the rift again, and Gavilar's like, yeah, man, you're not going back over there. You're just going to go handle some border disputes. So, yep.
Yeah.
I'm good at that chapter if you are. Cool. Chapter 50, Shash 37.
Dalinar flies with Kaladin and a large group to the war camps. Kadash tells Dalinar that his help decoding the Dawn chant may help his case with the church. Dalinar then goes to investigate the madman's cells and finds that someone's broken him out with a shard blade. On the way back, Dalinar asks Kaladin to go to Thalen's city to activate the Oath Gate. Yep.
Yeah.
The only thing I have marked in this chapter is like after they get to the war camps and he gets to where the herald was being held and the door is bolted shut and he like reaches out his hand to summon a shard blade and the Stormfather's like, what are you doing? And Dalinar goes, sorry, habit.
Yep.
That's all.
It's really funny, actually.
Yeah.
I love the part where it's Dalinar, like when they get the blinking light from the span reed, and they're like, it's Fen, and right here they'd been waiting for her to speak of the event, to say anything. In the morning, she hadn't replied to their request for a conversation. Navani prepared the span reed and then set it writing. It scribbled for only a brief moment. That was short, Dalinar said. Only one word. She looked up at him. Yes. Just yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Okay, so now they have Taravangian, which, all right.
Yeah.
Now they have Queen Fen.
Right. So we're making some progress.
Yes.
We're making some progress.
Yes. Yeah, that's all I got. Dalinar found the
Oh, the dart?
the dart from Yatil.
I was like, what? For a second. Yeah, the dart. And yeah.
Yeah. 51. Full circle. Moash arrives outside of Kholinar and laughs at the irony of his task in sieging the city.
Yeah. Like, laughs so hard he falls over and there's tears coming out of his eyes.
The Ghostbloods inform Shallan that Ishna is fine to deal with. Shallan then goes and convinces Elhokar to let her go on the mission with him. She gets a formal request letter from him and is glad to be leaving the tower.
Yeah, because she's going to go with him in case they need an illusion put on.
Yeah, but really, she just wants to get out of here.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be around Yasna. She's I think it's like an amalgamation of things that she doesn't want to be around.
For sure.
Like we know she doesn't like being cooped up anyways because of her childhood. And then it's also like Yasna's back and now she has to do her wardship again. And I don't think she's really particularly into that right now. And yeah, she just wants any excuse to be out of Eurythera right now.
Yep. I like that Moash just kind of
laughs so hard he cries.
Yeah.
At how ironic his situation is.
Oh, yeah. All right. Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay.
All right. Chapter 52.
Yeah, we're moving pretty fast.
After his father.
After a battle, Dalinar is surprised to find evidence.
You good over there?
Oh. That was autocorrect.
Okay.
I put Evie and then it put evidence. Okay.
You were like, the way you just stopped and stared at your phone, I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, okay. After a battle, Dalinar is surprised to find Evie and his children at the war camp. He meets with Adolin, now a boy, and Renarin, a toddler, for the first time. I just like this. I like little Adolin.
He's cute.
I like little Adolin. I like that Dalinar just wants some sleep.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that he's not met Renarin yet.
No, he's not. And
then like literally the name is like means basically nothing.
Like one who was born unto himself.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean I don't have beef with it.
Like one born unto himself. There ain't nobody like him.
Yeah.
There ain't nobody like Renarin.
There's not.
There ain't nobody like Renarin.
Ain't nobody like Renarin.
Ain't nobody like Renarin. Love that little freak. Got me. You got me calling him freak now.
I love him. Freak said with love in my heart. With genuine love in my heart. Non-derogatory.
I love that Adolin salutes Dalinar. It's a very kind of heartwarming chapter in a way.
I know, it's cute.
Yeah.
But it still makes me sad that he literally like hasn't gone home or seen his wife and kids. What?
Does Evie kind of get on your nerves?
No.
I don't like Dalinar necessarily in these flashbacks. I don't like him. I
think Evie's just trying to do her best.
Yeah.
And I think she just is so different from the Alethi. Like I think she's
so. Yeah, that's
she's
what it
just
is.
quirky.
Yeah,
she's quirky.
She's just quirky.
She's just quirky.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I love that we immediately see Adolin is just like,
I want to see your sword.
Yeah.
And I like that they have that interaction where
That's what I was going to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead then.
Where he's just like, Mommy says I can't have my plate yet. Caleb needs it. You can have it when you come of age. Good. I'll need it to win a blade. Nearby, Evie clicked her tongue softly, shaking her head. I'll win you one in war, son. No. I want to win my own, like you did. I'm just like, yeah, you tell him, Adolin. You're like,
kid's like
4.
4.
Yeah, he's like 4.
And he's like, I'm going to win my own blade. Yeah, man, go for it.
Chapter 53.
Such a twisted cut.
Yasna recounts the tale of a king who killed his entire family. She talks to some colleagues about the return of Nail and of Lift, and after this she goes and speaks with Navani and Shallan, while also noticing Renarin acting strange. Soon Amaram shows up and Yasna annihilates him. Soon thereafter, Renarin discovers a gemstone in a wall, and they realize it's the recordings of what was in the library.
I like she's talking to one of her
Joshi.
Yeah. And he says, when can I visit? And she said, as soon as you're willing to let everyone know you aren't female. Joshi, known to the world as a dynamic woman of distinctive philosophy, was a pen name for a pot-bellied man in his 60s who ran a pastry shop in Thaylen City.
That's awesome.
And I just think that's so interesting because he I don't know. Like, you think Thalens are the same where, like, the men aren't supposed to write?
They're not. No.
Yeah. So, this man, I don't think is an ardent because he's a pastry chef.
Mm-hmm.
And he's taught himself how to write and apparently is a very renowned woman philosopher.
Yep.
When really it's a guy that runs a bakery.
Who's like in his 60s or something?
Yeah, so he taught himself to write and is like going under this pen name because he's not supposed to be a guy that can write. And I think that's kind of interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
You know, that we have that like kind of sneakiness going on.
I think Ethid, the one from Aesir, who like tells her about Lift and everything and like says like, oh, well, Lift is back, but she's been avoiding me.
Yeah.
I think she's Fat Lips.
I think so too.
She's Fat Lips, right? I think she is, right?
Yeah, which is, for anyone that didn't read Edge Dancer, that's how Lift refers to one of the scribes in Aesir. Is Fat Lips. I think she's Fat Lips.
I feel like she has to be, right? Okay. Yeah. Dude, she annihilates Amaram,
I think I have marked.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because we knew that Dalinar at one point was trying to like set them up to like be married, and then Yasna
Gavilar was.
Or Gavilar, one of them. Anyways, sorry. What does he say? We thought you were dead. I needed to see myself that you're well. She says, you have seen. Now leave. Instead, he gripped her forearm. Why, Yasna? Why have you always denied me? Other than the fact that you are a detestable... Sorry, let me start over. I started laughing because I started reading ahead. Other than the fact that you are a detestable buffoon who achieves only the lowest level of mediocrity, as it is the best your limited mind can imagine, I can't possibly think of a reason. Mediocre, Amaran growled. You insult my mother, Yasna. You know how hard she worked to raise me to be the best soldier this kingdom has ever known. Yes, from what I understand, she spent 7 months she was with child, entertaining each and every military man she could find in the hopes that something of them might stick to you. And then he says, you godless whore. But I like that she calls him a detestable buffoon.
Mm-hmm.
You detestable buffoon.
Buffoon.
You absolute buffoon. God, Yasna. If you need a wife, I'm free. I'm available. I live at... What?
I was going to talk about Renarin.
Okay.
My man saves the day.
He does.
He's just like, there are memories in here. And everybody's just like, yeah, okay.
Okay, weirdo.
All right. And then he's just like, and like a little drawer pops out and there's a little crystal inside. And then they're just like,
What is this?
It's a code. But he says, music of language. He drew in Stormlight from some spheres in his pocket, then turned and pressed his hand against the wall, sending a surge of Stormlight through it that extended from his palms like twin ripples on the surface of a pond. Drawers slid open, one behind each white tile, 100, 200, each revealing gemstones inside. The library had decayed, but the ancient Radiants had obviously anticipated that. They'd found another way to pass on their knowledge. I don't think we've talked about how much music is important on Roshar.
Not really. I mean, like...
And, like, sounds.
It's obviously very important to the Parshendi.
Yeah.
Because, like, basically their whole language is based on harmonies
Rhythms
and melodies and rhythm, yeah.
But, like, with cymatics. With cymatics and with the Parshendi and with, for some reason, like music attracts Spren. We've heard. And we've heard now that the language of music, that it's like, it buzzes in a sequence, like, it's just really neat. It's really cool, and I like it. And we haven't really touched on it, but I'm sure we'll get some more of it later on.
I'm sure we will.
I'm sure we will.
Only up from here.
Only up from here.
That's all I got.
Chapter 54.
An ancient singer's name.
Frustrated by the treatment of his new crew and once again being sent out front to take arrows, Moash confronts a Fuse, being sent to speak with Lady Leshui, whom he learns was the one he killed previously. She says that he was spared because of his passion and that his name is that of the singers. After being sent free, he goes back to his crew and says he will train them in the spear.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting we get, like, well, we learn, like, the Fuse can be killed, but they can also...
Come back.
Yeah. They can reincarnate.
Well, that's what the Stormfather said, that when they would, like, in the vision, when he's explaining the Oath Pact and everything, now when the Fuse, like, used to be killed, they went back to Damnation. Now they just come back in the Everstorm.
Right, but there has to be a sacrifice. So somebody has to sacrifice their body for the Fuse. So somebody has to die.
Right.
So if a Fuse dies and they want them to come back, which obviously they do because they're like their gods, someone has to sacrifice their own body for that purpose.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. We meet, like, officially Lady Leshui. I like Lady Leshui.
They're like the first, like, kind of boss that you get to in Cult of the Lamb is named Leshy.
Oh.
And so my brain for a second, I was like,
Leshui?
I was like, what? Because I've been so Cult of the Lamb pilled for 2 weeks. So, yeah, I also like Lady Leshui. Like, I don't like her in theory, but I like her as a character. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting Moash's name is...
See, I like her as a character. Well, I like her... Okay, she comes on later on, and I like her more as a character. We learn more about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that Moash's name is traditionally a Parshendi name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
It's all according to the plan. It's all
falling together.
All falling together.
I assume.
Maybe.
I don't know. All right. I don't have anything else.
Nope.
All right. Chapter 55, Alone Together.
Yeah. Relaine wonders if he's the last. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Relaine wonders if he's the last listener, listening to the others and honestly tired of being treated differently. He expresses this to Kaladin, and he doesn't understand, and that he doesn't understand anything about what it's like to be him. Kaladin, in response, asks what it's like.
Yeah, I do really like that whole interaction they have about, like, the conversation between Kaladin and Relaine. Because Kaladin, like, wants to understand.
Yeah. Kaladin's a little homophobic in this chapter. It's really funny.
Hold on.
What?
Something that I noted, because we knew that Relaine was, like, a spy.
Yeah.
He makes a comment being, like, talking about, he says, you know, he loved Bridge 4 because they tried, you know, to include him and everything.
Yeah.
And says he belonged here as much as he did anywhere else. Bridge 4 was his family now. Now that those from Narok were gone, Eshonai, Varanus, Thud, and he attunes the rhythm of the lost and bowed his head. But he knew Eshonai and all of them. And, like, it's interesting that they're connected. 'Cause, I mean, like, we know he, like, leaves, but I don't think he ever makes it back to Narok necessarily.
No, he saw that all those people had changed into storm form.
So now he's just thinking about who his friends were, and we're just like, that sucks.
It's really sad.
My friend Eshonai is, like, gone now. He doesn't even know she's dead. But, like, all of his other friends that he knew from Narok, he's like, they're all gone now.
You see, like, I guess you would call them, like, Microaggressions.
Microaggressions.
Yeah, I guess you would say that. I'm so.
Sigil can read it as a language. I can read glyphs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same. It's feminine, Drahi added. Drahi, you are literally courting a man. So, yeah, what are you saying, Cal? Nothing. I just thought Drahi might empathize. That's hardly fair. And I love Lopin's.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, Drahi likes other guys. That's like, he wants to be even less around women than the rest of us. It's like the opposite of feminine. He is, you could say, extra manly.
Yeah.
He said it's not gay to like guys.
Yeah.
Happy Pride to Drahi and Drahi only.
I was gonna say, I was talking about the microaggressions towards like Relaine, but
Ally.
yeah, but
Lopin's an ally.
Lopin is an ally, but yeah, no, you're totally right.
Sorry.
It's really funny.
I went in the opposite direction.
No, it's fine because it's still the same thing. Like
It's still microaggressions.
I also hate the term microaggressions. I hate it.
I don't have an opinion.
I don't know. I just don't like it.
That's fine.
There are certain words I don't like content creator. Hate that one.
Get a real job. No, I'm kidding. That is a very valid job, and you make a lot of money. So maybe you're just upset because you wish that could be you.
I don't.
I'm just okay. Let's move on.
I just don't like terms like that or whatever.
I understand. Zeus, what is wrong?
I feel like we need better ways to call things.
Yeah, Zeus is lurking around the corner. Hi, buddy. You're very handsome.
Bubby.
What's going on? Come here.
But I like at the end of this, it's Kaladin and Relaine talking. And he said, hey, you heard what Rock said. I know how you feel. We can help you shoulder this. Do you actually know how I feel, Kaladin Stormblessed? Or is that simply a thing that men say? I guess it's a thing that men say. Can you tell me how it feels? Did he really want to know? Relaine considered. Then attuned resolve. I can try. I think it's a very important thing. That it's this is going to go into whatever. I won't go too in depth with it.
Okay.
A person can never truly understand how another person feels. Mm-hmm. They can empathize.
Yeah.
And they can relate it to their own life and their own experiences, yes. But they can never know how one feels.
Yeah. Everyone experiences emotions differently.
Mm-hmm. And this is not even talking about race per se. Mm-hmm. This is Relaine is not just a person of a different race. Relaine is a person of a different species.
Yeah. Extreme racism.
Extreme.
Sorry.
See, Wit. Now you're getting into now you get why I like 40K. Don't matter what kind of human you are, as long as you're human.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, and it goes into the thing where it's just like, I can never imagine what it's like to be a woman. I am not a woman. I cannot imagine what it's like to be not white.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, but I will never know.
You will never know, and you will never be able to understand struggles that someone else has experienced based on those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will never know what it's like to be an entirely different species of person.
No.
Nobody ever will.
Yeah. Until we get aliens.
Do we get aliens?
We're never going to know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know the struggles that the aliens have.
It's
and that's
true.
just life.
Anyway, I think it's a really good point that's made just then, where Kaladin admits and says, can you help me understand that?
Yeah. That's the right way to go about
Because
something like that.
that's exactly how you're supposed to go about these things. But I don't know, it's just nice because it's just like Kaladin being Kaladin and being like a good guy. And it's just like, all right, well, Tell me.
Is Zeus staring at you through the hole in your leg?
He does that a lot, yeah. Dooley does that too.
Oh my god.
He's so funny.
He's being a goober. He probably needs something, but we're almost done, so he can wait like 30 more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Chapter 56. Always with you. Zeusy, honey, why don't you lay down?
Dalinar brings Navani, Yasna, and Yanagon into the vision of the Recreants. Watching the Radiants abandon their oaths causes Dalinar some heartache. Yanagon tells Dalinar his doubts, and then the Almighty comes and gives the final speech. However, everyone else fades away except Dalinar. Suddenly, a man appears before him and introduces himself as Odium. I did not make a summary for chapter 57, which is a chapter after this.
Okay.
I figured we could also go into that, maybe.
Yeah.
So, I'll talk. I like Yanagon and Dalinar's interaction in this, where he's just like, I'm nobody. Mm-hmm. This is what happened. Like, the Viziers made up this story because they were afraid of the assassin in white.
Yeah.
Lift is the one who brought back the child and everything, or brought me back to life.
Yeah.
And Dalinar's just like, oh my God, you're just a kid. Like,
Yeah, literally just a kid.
And like, they talk about that. And yeah, it's just very interesting because we finally have this character just be like honest and be like, and Dalinar realized like, oh yeah, this is just a kid who is out of his league and probably did not intend to be in the situation that he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the man?
A man in white and gold stood there. Dalinar jumped, scrambling backward. The man was old, with a wide, furrowed face and bone-white hair that swept back from his head as if blown by wind. Thick mustaches with a hint of black in them blended into a short white beard. He seemed to be Shin, judging by his skin and eyes, and he wore a golden crown in his powdery hair. Those eyes, they were ancient, the skin surrounding them deeply creased, and they danced with joy as he smiled at Dalinar and rested a golden scepter on his shoulder. Suddenly overwhelmed, Dalinar fell to his knees. I know you, he whispered. You're him. God. Yes, the man said. Where have you been? Dalinar asked. I've always been here. Always with you, Dalinar. Well, I've watched you for a long, long time. Here, you're not the Almighty, are you? Honor? No. He truly is dead, as you've been told. The old man's smile deepened, genuine and kindly. I'm the other one, Dalinar. They call me Odium.
Boy, when this first happened, Whitney, my jaw hit the floor. He just shows up.
Just shows up.
He's just here.
Just here.
And he looks nothing like you thought he was.
He looks like God.
He looks like God. And that makes it scary.
Yeah. Because, like, I feel like we have reasons. I think we talked about this last episode as well. Mm-hmm. We have reasons to be fearful of the Parshendi and the Fused. But Odium just looks like a nice...
Old man.
A typical godly figure in white and gold. He doesn't have any scary attributes going for him. So that's just a nice old man.
Let's just get on into chapter 57. Didn't write a summary for this one, folks. Here's a quick one. Dalinar and Odium talk. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And he's like, if I'm free, I'm going to find cultivation. And I'm going to kill cultivation. And then I'm going to start everything new. And yeah. Cool. And I think we need to say we're about little under halfway through this book. This is our first time meeting the villain of this story, of this series.
Third book. Less than halfway through.
Third book, a little under halfway through, and we're finally meeting our main villain.
Yes.
Of the Stormlight Archive. Are you kidding me? We've barely even heard his name, I feel like.
Yeah. We just have heard Odium, like here and there.
Yeah.
But we didn't really know what was going on.
No. Cool.
It says, they call me Odium, the old man said. A good enough name. It does have a certain bite to it, but the word is too limiting to describe me, and you should know that it is not all I represent, which is, he looked at Dalinar. Passion, Dalinar Kholin.
Passion.
I am emotion incarnate. I am the soul of the spren and of men. I am lust, joy, hatred, anger, and exultation. I am glory and I am vice. I am the very thing that makes men, men. Honor only cared for bonds, not the meaning of bonds and oaths, merely that they were kept. Cultivation only wants to see transformation, growth. It can be good or bad for all she cares. The pain of men is nothing to her. Only I understand it. Only I care, Dalinar. And you're sitting here thinking, you're like, maybe this guy's not so bad.
No, we're not. No, we're not. Shut up.
He's manipulating us.
Oh, yeah. I do kind of like that, though, that exclamation where he's like not odium, like hatred or whatever. Like he is just like emotion, passion, and everything. I think that makes him like a little more interesting than just like
evil.
Hate. Yeah.
I'm
just like
evil.
Emotion. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely gives him more like depth as a character.
It seems he is emotion, but like extreme emotion. Which is interesting because he has a very calm demeanor about him.
Yeah. Something else to consider.
Yeah, something else.
Can you imagine a world without passion? No, not one I'd want to live in. Ask that of cultivation next time you see her. Ask what she'd want for Roshar. I think you'll find me to be the better choice. Next time, Dalinar said. I've never seen her. Of course you have, Odium said, turning and walking away. She simply robbed you of that memory. Her touch is not how I would have helped you. It stole a part of you away and left you like a blind man who can't remember he once had sight. So is she the Night Watcher? That's what I assume based off of what it says there.
That's what I assume as well.
I know that I probably should know that answer, but I can't remember.
Do you want the answer?
I think it's a spoiler, so no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Rappo.
I'm gonna Rappo, but from that comment, you can assume that
she's a Night Watcher. And then immediately after that, he says, "I offer you to a challenge of champions."
And he's like, "Do you?"
He says, "LOL."
LOL. I don't accept. Because he can't speak for the entire world.
And like Dalinar's like, he's like, "I've seen you. I could take you on."
Ooh,
and Odium says, "That's funny.
You've seen me?"
And then,
one sec.
Yeah. That whole I don't even really like, I can't describe that scene. Like it is just something I think that you have to read and experience for yourself.
Yeah.
Where he just, puts Dalinar through like every like blistering emotion a person could have, like feeling every emotion as powerful as you could ever feel it, like pure like ecstasy and joy and like anger, hate, just feeling everything with such an intensity that like no person probably ever feels that intensely in their entire life.
No.
Weirdly, it reminds me of the end of Evangelion.
I hear you.
Like, I don't know why. I think it's maybe just like the white going on and all the, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched that in a long time, but my brain just now, I was talking about it, and what I was picturing was the end of Ava.
Tumbling down, tumbling down.
What? Kitty cat.
Yeah. I have it marked here. Mm-hmm. Odium patted him on the shoulder. Take a minute, Dalinar. I'll leave you here. Relax. He cut off, then frowned, spinning. He searched the rocks. What? Nothing. Just an old man's mind playing tricks on him. He patted Dalinar on the arm. We'll speak again. I promise. He vanished in an eye blink. That guy, a girl's voice said, is creepy. And here's Lift. And I love what she says.
The light of my life.
Mm-hmm. She said, what was that thing, tight butt? Didn't smell like a real person. They call it Odium. And it is what we fight. Huh. Compared to that, you're nothing. Thank you. She's immediately like, I'll talk to Gox. You got some good food at that tower city of yours? We can prepare some for you. Yeah, I don't care what you prepare. What do you eat? Is it good? Yes.
Lift, I love
This
you.
book rocks. This book is awesome. This is the best Stormlight book. I don't care what you say. We've only read 2 parts. I'm, of course, going to save it to give my final analysis and review when we finish it.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, this is better than Words of Radiance.
And we're only, like, I feel like...
We're only 2 parts in.
Like, Sanderson books, part 3 is always when it gets crazy. You get through part 1 and 2 and you're like, man, this is good. But then part 3 always hits and it's just crazy.
Villain of the story.
Yeah. Odium.
Already.
What do you mean already?
Already.
We're 2 books in.
Okay, but I mean like for this book.
Yeah.
Shallan scared off an unmade at the end of part 1.
The Midnight Mother.
The Midnight Mother. Which, by the way, I meant to bring this up. In that vision that Dalinar takes Queen Fen, like the first vision that Dalinar goes to, right?
Uh-huh.
Those midnight creatures, was that from
Her? I don't know.
I don't know either.
They could be.
Maybe.
I don't know the logistics of how she works.
I think so.
I mean, she could be. We know she's trapped in Urithiru. Like, she was trapped there. So we could assume there was a point in time where she was not trapped.
Right.
And so maybe she was out there throwing around creatures.
Right. Who knows? She might have been. I don't know, though. I don't think so. I don't remember. But now that I'm like, maybe I just haven't thought about it before that was her.
Yeah.
I think that might have been her, right?
It might have been.
Might have been her?
I don't know.
Okay. I guess we'll maybe find out. Who knows? Rapho. I don't know. What's her name again? Ray Shafir,
yeah.
Ray Shafir.
And I am in fear. I have fear in my body.
Yeah. That was a good book.
It is a good book. I told Ryan I had a moment where, like, I had a really rough day. And the only thing in my mind when I was driving back from where I was like, I just want to be in Roshar right now.
Yep.
Like, it was the first time where I, like, really, truly... Because, like, I've read books before and novels and been like, man, I just want to sit down and get back into my book. I've had a rough day. I just want to read. And I had, like... I think it was the first time where I ever truly was like, I have had such a horrible day. I just want to go into this universe and be with these characters that I know. And I'm, like, comforted by. It was like, oh. And I'm hugging this book to me, but this is, like, one of my favorite books ever. And it's just near and dear to my heart. I'm putting it there.
I get it.
If you opened up my chest and looked at my heart, there's a copy of Oathbringer in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
100%.
That's awesome.
It's like a little tiny one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in one of my arteries. I don't know.
Okay.
There's a picture of Yasna in there,
Yeah.
taped to one of the walls of my heart.
Your heart locker.
Yeah, in my heart locker is a picture of Yasna, a copy of Oathbringer. Pictures of my
That's
dog
funny.
and my cat, and yeah.
A voodoo doll of Jack.
No, I would never. He's too kind to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this book.
What I was going to mention about Odium, I brought it up like I think maybe in part 1. Maybe it was in part 2.
We've been
maybe it's
recording
part
for hours. So sorry, everybody.
Yeah. I brought up Devilman Crybaby.
That was in the last part, 100%.
That was in last episode.
Yeah, and you never brought it back up.
All right,
bringing it back now.
Ladies and gents, dude, I'm sorry we backlogged today. My brain, and I forgot to bring it up again, but you probably figured it out if you've seen Devilman or Devilman Crybaby. Read Devilman. I don't know. Go watch Devilman Crybaby, or go read the original manga, or go watch the OG anime OVA. It's a cool story. It's by Go Nagai. I think that's how it's pronounced. You meet Satan in Devilman, and he is like the antagonist, but he looks like an angel.
Okay.
He does not look like a devil. He does not look like the other devil characters in this show. He looks like an angel. He looks like he has blonde hair. He has blue eyes. He has the angelic bird feather, white wings and everything. And he's beautiful. And it's just that's what makes him kind of scarier.
Is because he's pretty.
Is because he's pretty. Yeah. But I kind of saw that. I was just like, oh, okay, gotcha. So I'm seeing sort of the biblical stuff and everything with that, well, not with that, but when I was talking about, it was back when I was talking about Odium's champion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God, I feel like we are already we have a whole nother book.
We got a whole nother
We have
book and a novella.
I'm just we're here with Odium and Odium's champion, and this is all the thing that's happening, and I know where it's going, and in my brain I'm just oh my God, there's one more book, and then there's another
Coming out
in December.
Then we have
That's why we're doing this.
Yeah. I gotta read those chapters that are out.
I haven't read them.
They have the first 10 chapters or something out now.
I don't think I need that. I think I just need to sit down and read it when it comes out. I was talking to Jack about it today. I was yeah, they moved the date for the release to be Thursday of the convention. And Jack was dude, that's a bad idea. Everyone's just going to go back to their hotel rooms and read. And I was no, Jack, what's going to happen is everyone's going to be at con all day. But every time they sit in a line or there's nothing going on, people are going to have their faces stuck in a book.
Yeah.
And it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to be one of them. But then you also have to carry on around a book of this size.
I'm gonna let you know I ain't doing that.
You're not going to do it? You're not going to read it?
I'll buy audiobook same day. What you talking about? I'm not carrying around a hardback all day. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I also wouldn't want to ruin the dust cover or anything. I go put the dust cover in the hotel room.
I just don't feel like doing all that.
Yeah.
Just pick them up that night.
Yeah.
You pick up your books that night.
I mean, I bought a signed one with my badge.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know how that goes with the midnight release now either. Does that mean are people going to be camping out Thursday night?
Because it says on the
or Wednesday night?
Because I was looking at the tabletop games thing today.
Mm-hmm.
After buying the World Hopper Bowl thing. And it says badge picked up, and it'll say merch with it, and mine says signed book bundle.
Yeah.
But it says picked up no. So I don't know. They're gonna have a system for it, I'm sure.
Yeah. You're gonna pick them up after the release event.
Yeah.
But last year and they've done it all the year before.
Where you line up overnight.
Yeah, you line up overnight and you can get a numbered signed copy.
I'm not gonna do that. I already paid for one.
Yeah,
I get the collectors.
Jenna said she's gonna do it, and
good for her.
I told her
I'm gonna give a good night's sleep. Sorry.
That's so real. I like no. I just thought about that. It's just like, do I really want a numbered copy? No.
You could buy a signed one. That's what I did.
I'm already going to get a signed one.
Yeah. So
I'm
then
a VIP.
Yeah. So then why do you need to?
But he goes, it's numbered, and then I can
you have
sell
two
it for $1 billion. Yeah, that's right.
That's Ryan's get-rich-quick
I'm a scalper. I'm a rat.
But then you're gonna sit outside in the cold.
I'm not.
In Utah.
Dude, it's going to be colder than it was last year because it's in December and not even in November. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
It's only a week apart from when we were there last time.
It's going to be colder because it's in December and not November.
It will suck. I really hope they have a coat check this year.
They're not.
I really hope that they do. A girl can dream.
Yeah.
Because it's such a pain in the butt to like literally be like, especially like if I do cosplay this year, then like, sorry, I thought it was October for a second. I had to look at my calendar and make sure it was September still. Like if I'm going to cosplay and I go in like a dress, that is not protecting me from the bitter cold of Utah.
Yeah.
But also I'm not going to walk around with a coat all day.
Yeah.
Making my cosplay look funny.
Yeah.
I can't be in like a nice coat and then a dress as Yasna.
Right.
She would never wear a coat.
Well, I don't know about that.
Her cold heart. I'm kidding. I don't know. But like, you know, I'm not going to create a coat to wear with my cosplay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think the good thing about it, like the coldness is not that bad compared to here.
Yeah.
Like it gets colder there, but it doesn't feel like it.
Drier.
It's dry. So dry.
Not the heat that'll get you, is the humidity.
It's the humility.
And it's the same with the cold.
Yeah. Moisture in the air is worse. Sorry. Anybody? I'll say this. Like I see like a bunch of people like complain like about like, oh, it gets like such and such hot in here and everything. We have it worse than I see like a lot of these places complain about because of the humidity here.
Yeah, people don't realize how bad it is. Like, I had some friends that live on Long Island come down here to play a show. And the venue ended up being outdoors. And they literally, like, their vocalist was like, dude, I feel like I'm breathing in soup. He's like, I literally, like, I can't breathe. I can't do my vocals correctly because, like, my lungs are not adjusted to being in weather like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, man, this is every day for me.
Yeah.
I'm used to breathing the soup. And then we went out to Utah. We couldn't breathe the air out there. So,
dude, yeah, because we got too high up. It was funny. It was too thin. The air is too thin. How do y'all live?
Y'all are way above sea level. I don't know anything about that.
Dude.
I'm at sea level over here.
Well, we're
barely above.
Yeah, we're like 1,000 feet above sea level.
Barely.
Yeah.
Not even. I don't know.
Yeah.
Gonna buy oxygen when I go to Utah this year.
Oh God.
They had it at CVS.
I'd like to go maybe try a different trail this year beforehand.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure our friend out there will take us to some cool places.
What is it? Is it there's like a big and a little something.
I don't remember. We went to Immigration Canyon last time though.
Yeah, I want to go somewhere cooler. You remember when we went to those fancy houses or like that neighborhood?
Yeah.
Because you could just walk up there and there like you could see trails up like on the mountain and everything.
Yeah. A lot of those trails are like a day long.
Oh, are they?
Excursion though.
Oh,
yeah.
Never mind.
Because I looked at some hiking trails and I've like talked to Court about it and he's like, yeah, that's like a all day thing.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you want to take your hiking boots out there, we can.
No.
I would like to go hiking in Utah, but I think it would be a separate trip for me.
Yeah.
Because there's so many national parks out there I want to go to.
Yeah, I would like to go to more national parks and everything. I think I would like to take a chance to go out west besides going to this convention.
Yeah.
But I feel like that might be like in the future.
Yeah.
thing.
I went to Colorado when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I went skiing. I was like maybe like 6 years old. I don't really remember it that well. So I've been to Colorado.
Yeah.
And then I've been to California because my dad's sister lives in San Francisco. So we went out there for Thanksgiving in 2019. So that's the furthest west you can go, really. But like I was
Hawaii, checkmate.
true. But yeah, that's like the furthest west I've been, and like we literally were like in we did go to Napa Valley.
Yeah.
I do want to go back to do that again now that I am a wine enjoyer, because I was underage when we went last time, so I couldn't drink, and even if I had drunk when I was there, I wouldn't have liked it anyways.
Yeah.
So I would like to go back and do Napa Valley the right way now.
Yeah.
So that'll be in my future. I got free lodging out there, so if you ever want to go to San Francisco, let me know. You can stay with my aunt. She's very nice.
Okay.
And they have an extra room, so
Okay.
yeah. They just don't have a centralized heat because it's an old house and it doesn't get cold out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it does get cold at night.
Yeah. Right.
And we froze. My sister and I literally kept the fireplace on at night.
Yeah.
So
That's like crazy. That some houses are just so old that they don't have like AC. That's like what is it? The UK. They go through like mass heat waves. When it doesn't even really get that hot. But it's just the fact that they don't have AC.
Yeah.
It's only it like it doesn't get that hot like compared to like somewhere like here.
Yeah.
But it's because they don't have AC. That's why it's a big deal, because all their houses are old.
Yeah. So like when I lived in Canada, most places up there don't have AC because like the summers are pretty like mild.
Yeah.
As far as like we're concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you get hot, you just open a window.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can get cool. Like my dorm room literally like didn't have AC. And so when I wanted to like go to bed at night and I was like, man, I'm hot, I just opened I had like a little crank window. And I would
that's funny.
just open the window.
Little crank window.
Yeah. Cause I mean, it was in like a high rise building. So they had to have it built a certain way that like, so people like wouldn't jump out the window.
Right.
So yeah, I had a little crank window and it would just blow in air and.
I mean, it makes sense, but also just like they make easy install ACs.
Yeah. I don't know. We were right by the ocean too. So
that would have been nice. That sounds nice.
You get a nice ocean breeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out the Maritimes.
Maritimes.
Ryan and I were recording and then realized not too far. I think we probably only missed like probably 3 minutes of us just yapping. So you didn't really miss out on anything important.
Mm-hmm.
We ran out of storage.
Yeah.
So we missed a couple minutes of that. So we are just going to call it a night here.
Yeah.
Decided that'd be the best thing for us right now because we don't want to mess with any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just gonna wrap up here and say thank you for listening.
We really appreciate everybody who follows and listens to us and likes and subscribes and talks about us, and I think you're all really funny and cool and nice and smart and cute and but not to be weird. I'm just anyway. Thank you. Leave a comment down below if you have anything you want to say, have any input you want to give. I have a question of the week that I will ask now.
Okay.
If you could be any type of bear, what type of bear would you be and why?
Am I supposed to answer?
Yes.
One of those weird little ones where they're like
Sun bears?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel akin to them.
Yeah.
Because I'm also a weird little guy.
I think I would be a polar bear.
I like that. I see that.
What kind of bears would you guys be? Let us know in the comments down below, or email us if you're uncomfortable telling us.
You can also leave comments on Spotify.
On Spotify.
I learned that the other day.
I did not know that. Do we have comments on Spotify that we just have been ignoring?
Oh, Sarah's been leaving them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Just like every
I feel
once
so
in a
bad.
while. I didn't know either until she told me. She's like, yeah, I left a comment on Spotify. And I was like, you could do that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
I love you, Sarah.
All right. Bye.
We'll see you guys next time for part 3.
Part 3.
Bye-bye.